Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video on the Rave Green TV YouTube channel. Today we got the final preview of the Club World Cup. Seattle Sounders at home against PSG. Obviously the Sounders, 2 losses now in the Club World Cup, essentially eliminated, but there is technically, I guess you would say, a world in which we could get out. We could talk about that later, but PSG absolutely demolished Atletico Madrid in the first game. Then they fall to Botafogo in the second game. So PSG's got a lot to play for. We technically have something to play for, but at the very least, just our own pride to play for. But it's going to be a good match. We're going to give you guys a preview of it today. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Leave a thumbs up on the video. If you haven't checked out our YouTube membership as well. So if you haven't checked that out, would be greatly appreciated. Help support the channel. Now I'm with Colin today to do this preview with me. So we're going to get this started for you. Paris Saint-Germain, obviously Champions League winners and one of the best, most lopsided finals we've ever seen. Coming into the Club World Cup, expected to dominate, but hasn't gone. I mean, the first game went, very well. Second game, though, a huge upset loss. Probably I would say, Colin, the biggest upset of the tournament so far.
I mean, I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
losing to Botafogo puts them in a spot where obviously they have, us, the team in the bottom of the group, but they still got a lot to play for. So, I mean, what did you think, Colin, of PSG and their loss to Botafogo, their most recent game?
I mean, I think Botafogo just defended really well for the latter half of the game after they had scored. PSG just really couldn't get much going. Maybe that's a good sign for us, you know. If PSG can't get much going, I don't know, but I just don't see our defense with who are we going to be playing this game? Probably Reagan and Kim. Is
Going
Kim
Reagan
injured
and
again
Bell.
or Reagan and
Uh,
Bell?
yeah, Reagan and Bell or Reagan and Kim, since Kim did rest the last game. Also, maybe potentially Yamar, but I would say that's probably a long shot given that we're likely out of the tournament. So I don't know if we would risk him, but I would say the most likely pairing will be Reagan and Bell. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, also, I don't know if PSG played their full starting lineup against Botafogo. I know they definitely subbed in a few of their starters towards the end, and they still couldn't really get anything going. But this definitely means we're going to be facing a full strength PSG side because they're going to want to win this game. Um, so that's a little worrying, I think, for us.
Yeah, I mean, so looking at the game they had against Botafogo, they had about probably half of their starters. I mean, they had Donnarumma playing, they had Kvaratskhelia, they had Doué. I think Vitinha also started that game, and Hakimi started that game. So rotated, but even then, like they got guys like Zaire Emery, whose value alone is worth more than our entire squad coming off the bench. No matter which way you slice it, they're gonna have a good team out there. I mean, Ousmane Dembele's not injured, right? Because he didn't start last game.
He like hasn't been in their 18 at all, I think, which is
Yeah.
pretty
Okay.
strange. So if he's not injured, I think he may have picked up an injury.
Okay. Yeah. I thought I saw something about a thigh injury. So I mean, if he's any like a little bit injured, I assume we don't see Ousmane Dembele. But Gonzalo Ramos, I mean, he's still going to be a tough problem for us. But like you said, they fell to Botafogo. They only have 3 points in the group. Technically, there's still something to play for. And considering that they probably underestimated their last opponent, they probably don't want to do the same against us. So I mean, I think we do see close to a full strength PSG team, which would include the likes of like Nuno Mensch, who didn't start last game, Fabian Ruiz. So they're still um, they're still going to put out a super tough team against us. And I guess we'll talk about a bit of the Sounders. I mean, I think I would say the last 2 games we've rolled with Masovsky up top, clearly out of his depth at this level. I think would you make any changes to the starting lineup? I guess particularly when it comes to the striker position, because obviously you got Jordan Morris, who's been on the bench, but again coming back from injury. Do you want to risk him? Should we just save him and hold him out for this rest of the regular season? What would you do in terms of the starting lineup, but particularly up top?
This is a tough one because I think Pereira is a significantly better player when he's not playing striker for us. I don't know why that is, but that's just the case. Musovski, I don't know. He's been like not effective up top. I think in the last game he missed 2 or 3 chances. I thought maybe he could have finished. Um, I I mean honestly at this point I don't think we risk Jordan Morris because he's probably our best striker, which is a bit sad. But I just think we're already out of the tournament. We're not. I mean, I'll just say it. I don't think we're beating PSG or even tying them. So there's really no gain, I guess, for him starting. Um, and I think it'll just put us in a better position for the rest of the season, just in case he does happen to pick up an injury in this game if we rushed him too soon. So I think maybe we just keep Musovski up there, see what happens. But
Yeah, I would agree. Ferreira's obviously not the true nine that you would want on a team that can compete in the likes of this tournament, just in the MLS in general. I think he's just a guy that wants the ball at his feet. He wants to connect and combine with players, which you can do that at the striker position, but we want a guy generally that can stay high among the center backs, like Jordan Morris was really good at doing. It seemed like Jesus always wanted to drop back and find the ball. So, playing behind the nine does suit him. But I would say this is just my opinion. Since the Sounders are likely out of the tournament, and also Masovsky, I just don't rate him anyways. Like I would start Pereira at the nine, and I think it's for me, it's more about. I mean, we've made this point several times. If you guys have seen it, other previews or live streams, but just the point of getting those guys that are, I guess, sort of young with talent, with market values, and have currently or have had prior interest from European sides or just sides abroad. Like I would want to get those players in. So like I would want to get Ferreira in. I want to get Pedro in a lot. Like obviously Obed's gonna play a lot, but I mean even like guys like Kalani Kosariansi, which is another talking point. I mean Kalani, bro, in my opinion, outside of Obed and Christian, I thought Kalani was a big winner from that Atleti game. Um, and then obviously we saw later in the game took Rothrock out, moved Kalani higher up the field just to keep him on in that game. So could we be seeing a shift? I mean, would you agree? Do you see, I guess, my take in that of having like the guys, the younger dudes with potential sell on value, having them on the field just for this last game where you're kind of already eliminated?
yeah, I think we talked about this for the Botafogo preview. Yeah, I'm definitely in favor of starting some of the younger players here just for their value, especially in this game, given that we're likely already eliminated. It's just like, I don't know, it kind of makes sense to me to try to market them to show that they can at least put out a good showing against the best team in Ligue 1 and obviously the Champions League winners. Um, I don't know, if they put out a good performance, it could show that they have real quality and could put them on the market. And I think that's what we need to be striving for at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you can see, you can already tell. I mean, literally after one game, like there's mixed reports where there was offers for Obed and then not offers, but just interest. But it seems like even after that one Botafogo game and probably after the Atleti game, like those games are doing wonders for Obed Vargas' transfer value. So, I mean, me personally, and then seeing guys like Kalani Kosariansi coming in and putting a good shift. I mean, this could increase his value as well. So I think I would roll with that. But technically speaking, we brought it up at the very beginning, but technically speaking, there is a world where we could get out, which I believe this would mean a Seattle Sounders, what, three,
I
four
think it's
nothing
3 or 4 is what I've heard.
Yeah, 3 or 4 nothing win, and Botafogo beating Atletico Madrid, I believe.
Yeah. I
But
don't
obviously it's
know.
LAFC, not
Yeah. I don't
PSG.
know if we
So,
have the striking ability, the finishing ability to score 1 goal against Donnarumma, let alone 3 or 4. So
yeah, or just
yeah.
just any area of the field where
Yeah.
outmatched. Which actually, I mean, even I would say the midfield. I don't think we've been completely outmatched. Obviously, Atletico Madrid has a better midfield than we do, but Christian and Obed have looked very good. They've looked at like close to that level in my opinion. Botafogo, those two were the best players in the field in my opinion. So at least in that area, but obviously you have the back line, which has been very shaky, going up against Kavara, going up against Desiree Doué, one of the most talented young players in the world. I mean, to me, this is the key areas where I'm the most worried about is the vulnerability of the outside backs. I mean, whether it's Reed or whether it's Nuhu, like I don't think either are ready for what Desiree Doué has to offer. And then you got Kabara on the other side, which I mean, Kalani, I think his biggest strengths are what he can provide offensively, defensively. Still young, not as like completely solid, and then you got to go up against Kabara. So I think those are the key areas for me where we could be exposed pretty badly. But what would you say? What do you think if we have a chance of winning this game? What do you think would be the best way of going about this game? Like, how would you want to play for us
Um,
to give us the best
I
chance?
I have no idea how to even approach them, because it's yeah, our midfield I think has been our strongest aspect against Botafogo and Atletico, but that's Botafogo and Atletico. That's not the Champions League winners, PSG. So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I guess we have to try to rely on our midfield like Obed and Christian. I thought Rusnack's played okay. Not DP level obviously, but I think he's performed well enough. I think we just kind of have to rely on that midfield to just put in, a very solid stint and hope Danny Masovsky can get some finishing boots on, and finish some of those chances, I guess. And I mean, obviously, we have to hope Fry treats this as a cup final game in his prime, and maybe we have a chance here, but I just don't see that happening.
Well, I guess so. The last thing we'll just talk about. What do you think the lineup should be? I'll let you go first. What would be your starting 11 for the PSG match?
Okay. Well, Fry and goal, obviously. We have Reagan and Bell. If Kim is back from injury, I would put Kim in. I don't know why he didn't start the last game, but if
Precautionary, I
he's
think.
okay, yeah. So if he's like 100%, I'd put Kim in for John Bell. I think John Bell's look pretty shaky. I do Rienzi at right back, and then Baker Whiting at left back. Obed Christian midfield with no, I think the wingers or right left midfielders could be interesting. I think we
Yeah,
have
I think that's where you got the
yeah,
most kind of
yeah.
options to go, I
Because I
think.
think maybe we play hmm. I know I said earlier I think Ferreira isn't a good 9 and maybe we put Musovski up there, but I think we have to put Ferreira at the 9 here and then put um Kent on the left and then probably De La Vega. Hopefully he can I don't know. I just don't think he's looked good the last 2 games. It's a bit rough to say on that right side, but I'm also not the biggest fan of Rothrock a lot of the times. So I think I'd say De La Vega at the right and then for up top.
Yeah, so I think that's a good lineup. I think for me, because I will say we agree on the back line. I still think Nuhu. I think you mentioned the entire tournament. I think just that action alone, you just cost us a chance to even have a chance of getting out of the group. You also cost us like $1 million. Like had
Yeah.
we had that game, that's $1 million for us, I believe, or 1.5 or something like this. Like that's a big blow, and that's back to back games with nonsensical actions. So I think Nuhu's benched completely. Um, I do think we'll see Alex. I would like to see Kalani, but I would say we probably go with Alex. When it comes to the wingers, and I know this is a heavy debated topic, but let's just be real. Let's just keep it a buck. When you use your eyes, who's the more talented player, Kent or Rothrock? It's obviously Kent. I know that Rothrock loves Seattle. He wants to be here. He's got that passion. And listen, bro, if you have the talent and you don't have the passion, the body language to want to be here, and like that does matter, right? But in a game, I think where you need any chance of something electric, I just don't think Rothrock's going to get it done. I know Rothrock at his best. he played the best game he could have possibly played against Atletico Madrid, and all that was drawing a couple fouls. He doesn't have the speed to get by players, the technical ability to get by players. Like he works really hard, but in this game, like I would go personally with Ryan Kent on the right, just on the fact alone of just hopefully he can show up and show flashes and hopefully get some scouts interested. I would go Pedro on the right. I think you could also use that same logic for Georgie though, who when Georgie came in last game looked pretty good. So I would say Georgie's actually a big shout for that right hand side. I would not put Masovsky in. I would keep him out. I would put Ferreira on up top. So because at least that gives opportunity for Pedro and Georgie on that right hand side to come in and show what they look like to coaches, scouts watching the game. So that's the lineup I would have with the same back line, but with Kent on the left, Pedro on the right, and then Ferreira up top.
Yeah, I think one thing is if De La Vega is not performing well, I think even in the 60th minute, maybe even earlier, we put
Yeah.
Georgie on there because literally as soon as he came on against Atletico, there was an impact.
Yeah, because it's like,
And
dude, just not to cut you off, but just it's like, dude, you've had a lot of minutes, Pedro, to show stuff, and you haven't really shown it. I thought Botafogo, like, obviously he had that stinker of a miss where he just whipped the ball completely. I thought he looked good just in other parts of the field. I thought he looked lively, played quick and stuff like that. I won't say that game was a complete bust. I let it go, complete non-factor, as was everybody in the attack. But um, you've had a lot of chances to show something. So Pedro, if you don't show anything, I think even at halftime, or like you said, 60th minute or even before, I think you would say, okay, you've had your time at the Club World Cup. Let's get Georgie's minutes. Georgie's still like what, 22, 23?
yeah, he's
Still
not
young.
like yeah,
He's younger than Pedro.
yeah,
So
I'm pretty sure.
yeah, so I mean, if it's not going well for Pedro, I agree. I would also bring Georgie in early. All right, so I guess we'll end things off with the score prediction. So Colin, what do you think the score of our final match against PSG will end up being?
I think I could see like a maybe 3 or 4-0 loss. I mean before the tournament even started, I was saying we were gonna get slaughtered 10-0. I don't think that's gonna happen anymore. I think we've looked a lot better than I thought we would. So I think 3 or 4-0 is a good prediction here.
Yeah, I would agree with the. I think we've been listen. The Atletico Madrid game was 3-1, but if you watch that game, Julian Alvarez missed a sitter. Their striker, could have easily scored from 5 yards. A couple shots off the post. I mean, game could have been 5-1. I think this game is where maybe obviously now that we're out of it, I think this game's the one that could really get ugly. But I do think the Sounders will score. We scored in the last two games. I think we will score again. I don't know who it's gonna be, but I do think we get one. So I will say 5-1. That'll be my
All
score.
right.
5-1 PSG. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the preview. Obviously, we're hoping for the best for this last Club World Cup match, and I hope you guys watch it and enjoy it. And I hope you guys have had a blast this entire tournament. We've had a blast making content, previews, live streams for you guys, vlogs for you guys. So we really enjoyed this. We thank you guys so much for your support. If you haven't already, throw a thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the channel, and then, like I said earlier, if you haven't checked out our YouTube membership, it would be awesome if you did that as well to help support the boys. But other than that, hope you guys have a blessed day.